Toyota, Honda, Subaru, all of them are quivering in their boots at the sight of this new hatchback from Kia. Seriously, this thing's really nice. I'll include a link to the Kia here in South Jordan's website in the description down below, providing us with this K4 hatchback. Let's get right into it. Powering this is a turbo 1.6 liter 4-cylinder that goes to an 8-speed automatic. Power outputs are 190 horsepower and then 195 pound-feet of torque. Pretty solid. If you're looking for more straight-to-the-point reviews like this, make sure you subscribe. The flat gray color looks great, and the flat hood design also looks fantastic. Big fan of the amber lights and just the headlight design on the K4 in general. And then you can see here with the grille, a lot of blacked elements, a lot of painted elements. And you'll actually notice compared to other cars in the segment, this has a lot of painted trim, making it look more premium. 235 by 40 by 18 for the tire and wheel setup. You can see the fender flares are blacked out, the wheels are darker in coloration too. And take a gander at that side profile. The hatchback on this looks great. It actually kind of gives station wagon vibes, which I really like. When it comes to key fob features, this has the new Kia logo that'll do the little illuminate thing when you unlock it. It's kind of hard to see with the sunlight. Anyways, you got your lock, unlock function, remote start. They keep it simple. And this, folks, is what you came for. Hatchback practicality. You've got a cargo cover built in from the factory. There is more storage underneath with the spare tire. Not sure why there's a trash bag in here. But anyways, this is big. I mean, I want to get this side by side with the Civic or Corolla, but it looks quite a bit more spacious than both of those. And plop. This is kind of cool how you have that bar connecting the taillights. Yeah, just look at the back end design of this. It's very station wagon-esque. Everyone else is trying to go super sporty. This, though, it's all about practicality, and I dig that. Kind of an interesting door handle. Just regular windows throughout. You do have some soft touch here down below as well. You still have the cool door handle. Seats are perforated all down the center in the back of the K4 too. This is very practical in the rear. I mean, you've got good leg room in the back. We have some vents. You got USB ports as well. The roof line is pretty high for a hatchback, actually. This gives you much better headroom compared to a lot of the other vehicles in the segment. Keyless entry, and let's check out the front. Blind spot monitor with the mirrors. Again, just regular windows up front. This is nice with the trim and then down below as well. All of our window controls here, and then your mirror adjustments. GT-Line there in the seat. You can see perforated all down the center. Power adjustments with lumbar support on the side. Two-tone coloration with the steering wheel. You got paddles here on the back. On the front face, you have practical controls for like the volume, your voice command controls, the drive mode. Select is there in the center. It actually changes the gauge cluster. It's kind of fun, little animation. Anyways, you got adaptive cruise control with your lane centering feature too. Here's a quick look at that cluster. You can scroll through different menus, see different bits of info, and then here's that little drive mode animation up close. 360 camera system. Man, this thing is feature packed. Everyone else gives you like a potato cam with just a backup camera, and this has 360. You also have the climate controls always, well, here's a better look at that, accessible there on the side. Back to the main screen, it is quick to respond. Everything's pretty user-friendly with this. It is, you know, tablet popped on the dash type deal. They do give you a bunch of physical shortcut buttons for a lot of items, and then even, look at that, for the temperature, which is nice. And then we do have some USB ports down below. We got a 12-volt phone charging pad built in. Shifter here for the 8-speed. You got our auto hold feature, parking sensors. It's for the camera. And then this has the fancy over-engineered cup holders the K4 is kind of known for, or Hyundais or Kias, all of that. Anyways, nice trim on the top of that. Just a regular rearview mirror. And then we do have a sunroof with this. When it comes to pricing, I don't have the window sticker on this particular one, but from my understanding, the GT-Line Turbo is low 30s after destination and everything. Let's drive it. I just drove a K4 yesterday, and now we're back in the hatchback. I didn't realize I was going to have a hatchback review this quickly. They've got some crazy colors coming in this, so I might do a review on another one, not because the car's different, but just to show you guys the hatchback in like a crazy color, because I think that'll be kind of fun. They should do, if this does well, they should maybe do a K5 version too. It could be, you know, a little bit bigger. But we'll see. I mean, at minimum, Hyundai, if you're going down this route, or not Hyundai, Kia, same company. You got the Elantra N with Hyundai. This is where my brain was going. It'll all come together. You got the Elantra N with Hyundai. K4, I don't know what you call it, right? Doesn't matter. But K4 with the Elantra N powertrain, manual, you know, the dual clutch, all that available, hatchback. Please do it, Kia. Please do it. I want to be able to post a video and talk about how Honda with the Civic Type R and Toyota with the GR Corolla are absolutely beyond cooked, because you can now buy a fancy Kia with tons of luxury features for 10 grand less than their cars. Please help me make that video. That'd be so cool. And we just need more competition with this stuff. Like, America has completely left the chat when it comes to cars, and especially fun cars like this. So yeah, Korea, step up, fill in the gap. There's no more Focus RS, so from Ford, that was kind of like the other thing that would always be in the hatchback market. And Subaru doesn't do an STI anymore. I mean, they might bring it back. We'll see. Maybe we'll see. This thing does pretty well over the speed bumps, I will say that. Like, the suspension seems pretty good. Sorry, this driving route's gonna be a little bit different. They're doing construction, so I kind of... one of the light poles, I guess, broke, so they gotta fix that. So yeah, I gotta figure out a different route than normal. But yeah, the torque on this is great. And you know what? You don't really notice. I mean, it's cool to see out the window, the side, but you don't really notice this is a station wagon type deal. Hatchback, well, it's a hatchback, but like, it looks more like a station wagon. And you know, the difference between hatchback and station wagon is such a gray area. Like, usually hatchback for the smaller cars, station wagon for the bigger cars. But then you even have manufacturers like Subaru's now, I think, calling the Outback, which is totally a station wagon. I think they're now calling it an SUV, and it's like, oh man, gray areas. Lots of gray areas, that's for sure. But either way, I mean, the seats are comfortable in this, and this interior is super nice. I mean, this is very luxurious. You look at like a Civic or a Corolla or a Subaru at this price point. Like, the Subaru literally still has cloth seats, like a Impreza RS. Jeez. Impreza RS is at this price point, and that still has cloth seats. So, I mean, Kia's just coming in with a big value play here. Big value play. And I'm surprised Hyundai didn't do it first, right? Hyundai usually does stuff first, but it seems like Kia always has like the unique cars. Because, you know, you got the Carnival, for example, the only minivan between the two manufacturers. And now you have the only hatchback. So maybe that's just what they do, is they reserve the cool, unique stuff for Kia. Because, you know, yeah, you had the Kia Soul back in the day, so that's just, I guess it's just kind of how it's always been. Power's great. I mean, this doesn't drive really any different. The K4 is a great car. It's comfortable. It's got good power. It's got tons of features. This just continues that. Very smooth. Yeah, I mean, this feels quite a bit more upscale compared to what you're getting with Toyota. It's actually pretty impressive. Yeah, I like it. I like it. So I guess in conclusion, you got to at least check one of these out. You have to, if you're looking at the hatchbacks. Because with the features you're getting and everything at the price point you're getting it at, it's a very good deal. It's very appealing. You don't really see a lot of cars at this $30,000 price point, especially that are this practical. Like, if you're like a, here's what I'll say is, if you're a small family, you could, I've seen people make the Civics work because the Civic's a little bit bigger. The Corollas are tiny. They're really hard to make work. The Subarus are pretty good too with the space, but this one just is big. So like, if you were a small family and you just wanted a practical, good fuel economy, relatively affordable new car, like, this is great. This is much better than the SUVs that are in the, like, the little crossover SUVs that are in this price point, because they're tiny. Again, they're tiny. This is, like, you got to get in one of these to understand just how spacious it is. Like, I have the seat back really far and there's still space behind me. That's one of the few affordable cars, and this is why I'm so positive about this thing, is looking at the space and everything. This is like one of the few affordable cars that's actually family friendly. Most affordable cars, it's like, yeah, you basically, you can't fit anyone in the back. It's like a tuna can. But no, you could not only fit people in the back, you could fit a decent sized car seat back there. So K4 hatchback, don't be square, check it out.